It must be 8 p.m. because I'm live. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to check that that's working and everyone can hear me and everyone can see me. And I get my phone working here and rock and roll. Okay, it's working. No one's live. No one's live with me yet. Oh, there we go. Vandy Man Drams. Good to see you. Hope you're well. It's Monday night, so therefore it's usually time for a Monday rant. Normally talk a few things here about what's going on with the trade, with whiskey, with rum, whatever it is. And I get to go on my soapbox a bit on Mondays and get on a bit of a rant. This rant tonight is nothing new, but I'm going to elaborate on a couple of points that I've made before. I don't think I've got any new rants actually to embark on at the moment. Not that's a bad thing per se, but just that. Not that that's a good thing either, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, rant it up. Pardon me. Montronica, Robert Akers, Calte, SMWS Benelux, Dram, Whiskey and Music joined. Everyone, all some of my favourite regulars are joining. Good to see you all. Thank you all for tuning in these crazy times that we live in at the moment. Truly weird and wonderful times in some ways, and also not so wonderful. Wonderful is not even the right word, but just weird times that we're living in at the moment. And I hope we're all self-isolating and drinking with no more than one other person in your house, dwelling, or apartment, or villa, wherever you live. Rant idea. How shit is isolation? There's no. What else can I talk about with isolation? I think isolation times do suck, but I'm also very grateful that we're also not in. While we're in isolation times, we're also not in lockdown. So we're not in mandatory sort of enforced lockdown at the moment where you have to maintain presence in your house and for weeks on end or something like that. That would be pretty bad. Some people are some doomsday sayers I hear from sometimes like to say, well, that's inevitable, it's coming. And probably buying up all the pasta and flour and toilet paper, whatever other panic buys. It's not really a position of It's not really a positive mindset, though. It's not really one of a position of abundance, if you like. Ends up being a position of sort of like it's a hoarding mentality of worrying that you're not going to have enough of something. And the thing is, it's not really something that you have to worry about in any other time in living history for anyone really. It's always been in abundance for us, for everyone, and the selection and choice and accessibility and affordability of so many things is just there. So having these having these things pop up on us and change over time make for an interesting times of what's going on at the moment. But I don't think we have I don't think we're living in strictly times of isolation or full lockdown yet. Like I say, there's still a lot of flexibility there. How Calte, how ways you killed Big Swirl right hand shoulder? What the? Yeah, that has been killed. That has been killed. Well done. Myself and a friend knocked over that bottle, which was good fun. So, first Big Swirl down, and it gets released this Friday. So, there you go. That's why I got a backup. No, that's true. That one was used at an event as well. So that was like the last event we did. We used a bit of that, and then that was the rest of it. So there was a bit left in that bottle. Ian Dury and the Blockheads in the back there. That's true. Yes, that was the LP of the day. Here you go. Do It Yourself by Ian Dury and the Blockheads. Great album. I always mix up the LPs that are in my office. I've got a stack of LPs in the collection over there, and then I put them over here for the record player. Sometimes if I'm playing a record whilst I work or something like that. Don't always remember to change it over, but I sometimes do. But anyway, Whiskey Man Sam, Calby Chan, Creed Otter, Adrian, Damien Strams joined. Good to see you all. I'm going to pour myself a rum. That's what I'm in the mood for tonight. I was going to go on a small rant, but I'm not ranting too much. The first rant was about isolation. But the second rant I want to talk about was to say, you drink it how you want to drink it. Now, I encountered a Facebook thread just earlier today, pardon me, about how, you'd never mix great rum into a cocktail, you'd never mix great whiskey into a cocktail, it's all about using... it's like you only use your cheap whiskey and cheap rum for that. I don't believe in any of that at all. Not only do I not believe in that, and second of all, I don't think it's anyone's right to gatekeep how you drink or enjoy your Enjoy your spirit however you enjoy it. I like to drink it neat, in a glass, in a nice nosing glass, and appreciate the nose, aroma, and palate of the spirit, in this case rum. The rum, by the way, that I've just pulled out is 11.6, R11.6, a Jamaican rum. So very much in that lovely R11s. Caribbean rum from a single cask. 1st of May 2010, aged 7 years, so it came out in 2017, somewhere around there. Makes sense. 2018 probably released. 1 of 274 bottles and bottled at natural cask strength of 66.2%. We released that one to members in... It would have been 2018 that came out, so it would have been 2018 released, early 18. Bit of a tickle in the throat. I promise I don't have coronavirus. Okay. Matt Bailey recommends Big Swirl. You can see why the outturn is 120. Well, 110. Yeah, it's my beer is empty. Guess I need a dram. Me too, Rob. Me too. Pictures with Tim. Good to see pictures with Tim. Thrain DK. Good to see you all the way from Denmark again. What time is it in Denmark at the moment? Yes, Whiskey Taylor, 66.2. I'm not sure you're aware of Whiskey Taylor, but everything we bottle at the Society, every rum, every whiskey, every gin, every Armagnac, every cognac, etc., are always bottled at natural cask strength. The strength of the finished proof in the cask is what we bottle it at, not a proof that we think it works best at. The only time we do proof it works best at is for our Heresy range, which has been bottled as low as 42.5 and normally around 50% ABV. But 50% is still pretty beefy. 66.2, however, on this one. Rum, a bit like Armagnac, I don't find actually appreciates drops of water added to it, even at that proof. Adding water to it often just dilutes it without releasing any further aromas, generally speaking. So I don't do it. I forgot the beers, we've got the bourbons, you're correct, yes. We do have some bourbons coming through and some ryes, which is exciting. We've only ever seen one rye before, RW 1.1. But there's another one coming through. I won't tell you the code. And there's more B codes coming through and more Bs in general coming through. They look really exciting. That was an interesting thread. For those who are wondering what I'm referencing, our Facebook community, our group on Facebook, Scotch Malt Whisky Society Australia. Just search it out. It's the group, not the page. Andrew Durbidge, our Cellarmaster, asked a question for those who are current paid-up members of the Society. Would you like to see more bourbons and rums on future outturns? The response was pretty mixed, actually. I tried to stress in an earlier comment in the thread saying it wouldn't be at the expense of Scotch whiskies or other malt whiskies. It wasn't like, if we introduce more bourbons, you're going to see less malt whiskey. That's not the case at all. It's just a case of, would you like to see more bourbons and rums through? And normally when you see a thread like that, it's like, yes, 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 and yes. But this serves very interesting. I found it very interesting. It was a very mixed response, which is also quite interesting within itself because it's quite a big market for bourbons and not so much rye, but for bourbon in Australia. In fact, Australia is, unless this has recently changed, but for many years has been and probably still is, Australia is the largest export market for bourbon in the world. So bourbon is as an American spirit, is most consumed in America, which is the only place where it's produced. To make bourbon, it has to be produced in America. You can't make bourbon in Australia, you can't make bourbon in Japan or in Scotland or wherever. So it's produced in America, but they consume most of it themselves. And downstream from that, the largest export market of bourbon has traditionally been Australia, which is fascinating. We are a big bourbon country. We love our bourbons here. We love our rums as well. But we also love our Scotch whiskies, of course, which is great because where would you be without them? Which I'll talk about in a moment, actually. I'll talk about it in a moment. That is estery. Drying on the finish as well. This was called Just Add Sunshine. Sweet treacle tart and Caribbean spices combined with tropical fruit, banana skins on the barbecue, and treacle tart with dark licorice. I get that licorice right at the end. Treacle tart as well, and a bit of banana, like toasted banana, grilled banana skin. What a proper experience that is. That's fantastic. That's one to nose and taste. Oh, I almost forgot. Hand sanitizer time. You know the rules. It's quite liquidy, this hand sanitizer, but it means they haven't added any gunk to it. This is the Archie Rose one, of course. There you go. Proper techniques, of course. Always keep some hand sanitizer on hand at the moment. It's a good idea. All right. Belush Cigars, good to see you. Belush Cigars, is that you? Is that you? Anyway, 11 a.m. here. Some say it's too early to have a dram, but I say it's quarantine safety. True. Have a nice high-proof dram. Will keep you in good health. Time is an artificial construct. That's a pretty deep comment, Rob. Pretty deep comment. I mean, it is. Animals don't think about time, do they? I mean, maybe they do. I don't really think about that. It's like, if you have a dog, your dog knows what, if it's morning, it's time for food. If it's evening, it might be time for a walk or whatever, or vice versa or whatever. So there's that. Belush Cigars, it is you. Good to see you, Joker. Is it true that the premixes like JD and Jim Beam, if a distiller in Australia wanted to make a bourbon and use New Oak, what would it be called in the Australian market? It would be called Australian. You could call it Australian corn whiskey. You could call it Australian whiskey. You could call it American style whiskey. You just can't use the word bourbon if it's being produced in Australia. I know that much. Have a look at there are some Australian distilleries producing entirely from a corn base, which means that they are technically very similar to a bourbon in their mash bill and even somewhat in their distillation. But I can only think of two off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. Sour mash. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, that's a good one for it as well. Sour mash is a good example. So it could be one that's you could call it an Australian sour mash. Yeah, there you go. With a no-age statement? Yeah, with a no-age statement, that's right, yeah. The big questions here. You don't think about, they don't, flies don't think about, and birds don't think, do they think about time? Probably not in the same way we do. We think about it in, as a construct of, anyway. I don't want to go into that. So I'm enjoying a rum tonight. That was the whole goal of tonight. Now, there's a few announcements I want to make, and I'll make these announcements in the middle of this stream rather than at the end. Thursday night is a special live stream to our Facebook group. Now, I'm going to invite as many people as we can possibly fit into that. The whole idea is to do an outturn preview night. So it's the night before outturn. It's the Thursday night before outturn. The night before, it'll be a chance for you to ask all your questions about outturn the next day at midday. I'll have a few of the bottles from outturn still in the office here. Some have stayed sealed. Some have been sent off. Some I want to make sure we've got spares of and things like that. But I have most of the outturn here in the office still. But if there's something that you want to ask, that will be a really good opportunity for us to talk through outturn on Thursday night. It's going to start a little bit earlier as well. It's going to start at 7 p.m. in the Facebook group. So I'll put an announcement in the group, and I'll put it up on our stories here on Instagram as well. But now you've heard it here as well, so you've got an announcement for it. Where are we? Twas the night before outturn. Yeah, Morky Moore, I suggested to Susie in our office that we call it that. Well, actually, she suggested to me. And I sort of like, yeah, we could call it that, but it's April. Can you get away with calling it? Can you get away with calling it that if it's middle, not even quite middle of the year? Christmas in April anyway. Can you fix the Facebook quality, please? It's been at 240p for the last two. Yeah, Calplay, I'll give that a go. It's meant to be. The camera should be at 360p, which isn't a huge improvement. I understand, only because I can fix that, actually. I can fix that. I can broadcast from a different device. I'll give that a try. The quality's a little bit lower, the picture quality, but at least you can hear me really well, and we can have a chat. We'll see how we go. Yeah, Christmas in June, so why not in April? Exactly. Thursday's pouring drams to the partner bars. Yeah, Polly added, yeah, it's true, we'll do that. Sally Joan, good to see you. Facebook quality is fine from our end. Good to hear, old Barrel House. Robert Akers, A41 for me. Cool, man. I want to know what you're drinking. I want to know what you're in. So, pick out a dram, pick out a society cask for this Thursday. We'll raise a dram to the partner bars around the country, and I'll try and get them into the stream, any of them that want to join, can join live in with me on a video. Lockie, I'm looking at you. And any others that want to as well, of course, I'll make an announcement. I'll send them out an email to this evening or tomorrow morning. So that was sort of the big announcement tonight. I don't really have much of a rant beyond, you drink it how you want to drink it. But the other thing I was going to say is, I was going to talk a bit more about people, you see still some bashing going on of grains. And I talked a bit about that last night. But I think I'm going to formulate my thoughts a bit deeper on this. I'm a bit zonked today, I'll be honest. I'm a bit sort of... So I haven't really got all my thoughts locked in at the moment. But that's a good start for us. It's just a short stream tonight, Monday night. And I will catch you all tomorrow for the stream. Probably 2 streams tomorrow. See how I go. And we'll go from there. Yeah, Paulie Edit, are you chance for him to do his shot? Yeah, exactly. I haven't done mine. Thank you, my OCD can rest assured. Yeah, I understand that. Nat and Marina joined. Nat, we're just finishing up. It's just a short stream tonight. Hope you're all well, and I'll in good spirits. I will catch you all tomorrow. Cheers.